This one is Sacrifice by Rumorz.
Fire.
There is no description, so let's just go right into it.
It's a work in progress, by the way.
Work in progress, yes.
Yep.
All right.
Shout out Revenger Crew for sending us through, connecting us. But yeah, let's do it.
Hey, yeah,
Rumors.
let's go.
What's the track name again? Sacrifice. 3,
Sacrifice.
2, 1.
Wonder.
You wanna see me down, is it so? Hard to cut me out of the show. Hard to pull me out of the snow. I was numb to the pain, but my heart's grown cold. It's hard to figure out where I go. Till you find out, I don't know. I sacrifice my life and my soul. Couple pennies on the song and their opinions.
You know, usually I'm my biggest critic, let's admit it. Even when I put 100% on these middies, it ain't good enough, I tear it up then break it down, no progress. People hating how it sounds, I double down the process. My homies gas me up, but lately I've been empty. My check engine light is on, but the crash is so tempting. I've given up so many times, it's hard to quit quite simply. Cause how can I get to that green when I'm filled with envy? Critics say I got a lack of talent, I whine on every track, but I ain't getting drunk. From the rose till my rose is black. On my casket, this is madness, why they waiting for my coffin? Sorry for the inconvenience. Shit, I say that way too often. Don't wanna be apologetic, no, I said it, get the message. I ain't getting credit till the medic says I'm copacetic. And I think I learned my lesson. Everybody wants my blessings, but I've been out for a while. Sacrifice it for a second, a thing.
You wanna see me down, is it so? Hard to cut me out of the show. Hard to pull me out of the snow. I was numb to the pain, but my heart's grown cold. It's hard to figure out where I go. Till you find out, I don't know. I sacrificed my life and my soul. Couple pennies on a song and their opinions are low.
Oh, I like this
Chris,
one.
you want?
Rumors!
Alright.
Yeah!
I like this switch up though.
Okay, fuck you, I don't need your pity. People know I run the city. Got a girl and damn she's pretty. Man, I hope she don't think I'm hideous. I made an album straight from scratch. Pour my heart on all the tracks, but this one here I'm done with that. People say I've gotten cocky, I just say I found my way. I'm laying down my arrogance, I eat the cake like anime. Better days and better trebuchet. Yeah, I feed on exposure, my freedom is vulgar. They need them pulled over, you gotta catch me first. I got an evil composure, you'll see it October when I'm the hottest of the fucking multiverse. Doctor, can you help me something strange? Had to take a minute just to marvel at my change. I used to be a comic till I stood up for myself. Took a page out the book, now I'm sending them to hell.
Bow.
Woo! Wow.
Bow. That was Rumors, everybody. Shout out ESMR Revengers. There's a lot to unpack there, bro. There's a lot.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I think you have energy, but it's not all the way there. Like the first thing that I can think of is just this whole song. You have energy, you have confidence, you can obviously rap pretty well. But there's something missing for me to push it over the edge of being kind of like commercially successful. And the way that I could distill it is that, like for that last section, right? You were up all the time, you had the energy there, but it didn't feel unhinged like I think that you were trying to go for. The ad libs, when you're going bow, that's the kind of energy I need on the main vocal. But I think for the ad libs, for example, in that last part, repeating it that many times, it got a little bit annoying. But that's more of a detail. Like just in general, I think in moments you really do bring the energy that you need, but you don't sustain it for as long as I think you need to do it. And so that manifests in sometimes your flow. It sounds way too close to the grid. But if you were really kind of going off the fucking wall, going super hard, it would probably be a little bit off the grid. It would be sounding like more natural of a sentence of you talking rather than, or you screaming rather than you reading the lyrics or something like that. But yeah, the change up was cool. I could tell that you're like writing about stuff that you're going through and you're keeping it real. That's super dope. Um, you mentioned about your critics how you whine on every song, and then proceed to whine on the in the beginning part at least. Um, so I don't know, maybe take some of that criticism there a little bit. It does feel a little bit corny there, but I can tell you got skill. I can tell you got energy, and I want you to kind of push it to the next level. Um, Sorry, that was kind of like in depth as a first impression, but that's what I hear. So, Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's. I think those are really good in-depth tips on the artistry and flow side.
I
Um,
go through the same shit, Rumors. Like that's why I feel like I'm in a similar lane with you. So
yeah,
that's
and
why
I
I
was
can
gonna
go
say,
talk about that.
Chris knows that stuff well, so I think that's definitely advice to take seriously. Um,
That shit I'm still learning.
and I mean, from my perspective, I would say like I was definitely most impressed by your overall like energy and artistry and all of that stuff. I think it's
Mm.
pretty close to there. I can see what Chris means about a little bit of room for improvement and reaching that sort of professional radio level status. But I think it's like really it's more impressive than anything to me where you're at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of things to like for sure. A lot of things.
yeah, for real. I mean, the thing honestly for me that I feel like is like your energy, I think is really good and all of that in the writing. I think the arrangement and the source material and the recording, I think, is like pretty damn good, like pretty impressive on throughout this. The one thing that I felt like was that all of it could have sort of been opened up just a little bit more sonically. The main thing I was noticing is that the vocals were somewhat noticeably brighter and more forward than the rest of the track. And it sort of makes you feel like the rest of the track is sort of laying behind the vocals somewhere in the background, kind of, and there's kind of like a haze in front of it. And then the vocals are kind of a little bit too present compared to the actual track. I would love to have more of the track surround the vocals so you sort of hear things, in stereo around you more rather than sort of behind you with the vocals right in your head. Um, and that's of course a production thing, but it was very subtle, but I think it could make a really big difference actually because of how much you've got going on here and the nature of having these multiple vocals and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Um, I did like the sort of like jump breaks and like all that stuff in
yeah,
there. It's sort of fun. Uh, but yeah, I would just say like there's some really subtle things that could be really important for making it sound professional in terms of mix. Where again, I don't know exactly what's happening, but it just oh, I also did hear a little bit of distortion on a lot of
the
the
latter end.
vocals. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Um,
oversaturation somewhere.
yeah, Group 935, by the way, or I forgot what his name was, Skitter or something. He did mention something that I wanted to get to was the vocal effects sound off key for that first part. Yeah, I think the hook,
Mm,
there was like some sort of like chorus effect maybe or something where you like layering a bunch of different keys of the same vocal on top of each other, but they weren't in the same key of the song. So it sounded a little bit weird. I'd like to hear that a little bit more
yeah,
dry. It actually gave me like a 347 Aiden type sound, kind of hollow and like far away, like you're screaming in the mic, but you're like in the back of the room where the mic's in the front of the room, which is cool.
yeah,
But yeah, when it's detracted by um, out of key tuning, it's not good. So yeah, good point,
definitely.
Group 935. Appreciate you.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess in terms of vibes for me, I would say it's pretty damn close, pretty close to good to go.
I think for me, beginning is yellow vibe, and then the ending was green vibe.
Yeah, yeah, that
Like
makes
I really
sense.
fucked with the ending. The energy was super cool. Reminded me of like
Yeah,
Baby Keem type, just unhinged, but it's
yeah.
90% there. You know what I'm saying, Rumors?
Looks like Chesbro agrees with that.
Yep.
Uh, then on content, I would say again, I think the source material is pretty good for this, and overall, artistry and all that stuff. I think the actual content is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I would say I'd say good to go pretty much on that. Maybe a couple of little small tweaks you could make based on stuff we've talked about, but yeah,
Yeah, I think I can agree with that actually. Yeah. I mean, it might even be like there's a lot of people. There's like some artists who do get a rap for like writing on beats or whatever. Um, And like for me, it's not my personal taste. And rumors that just might be you like submitting to the wrong people because like people like um, I think like Logic or NF for example, or rappers that kind of talk about their problems, and some people say that they're whiny, but they're super successful, and honestly, they're very talented. It might just not be for some of us that like fucking Playboy Cardi, who talks about nothing. So, just find the right audience. But yeah, I could agree with that. Like, even though I didn't really like it per se, or it's not my cup of tea, I think it's solid. I think it's
Yeah.
a good, yeah.
And then for production, I would say 60 to 70% between yellow and green, like closer to green.
Yeah.
Just a couple of those things, like with it's pretty much the whole thing. Like vocals are distorting just a little bit, maybe a little bit too much, and the rest of the track sounds just a little bit too far removed, with the vocals being a little bit too present, kind of too bright and right in front. That's
Yeah.
the main takeaways.
It sounds like what I do a lot, which is slap a vocal on top of a beat already. I think you have a producer though. Rumors, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, I always preach the dynamic EQ with the vocals. Find the spot
Yeah,
of the EQ that your vocal really pops, and then duck that spot in the beat and do it dynamically. Um, but yeah, or flat, or one time. It doesn't have to be dynamic; it can be static. But yeah,
right.
I think I agree with Josh there. It's between yellow and green. For an overall track, I think it's yellow to green as well, in between the two.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I would say pretty squarely in the middle for me.
hmm.
All right.
How does one get top tier? Because I want to see if my song in your eyes is top tier. I think you're next, so you'll get to see. Um, we have a playlist. If you guys want to check out what songs made the top tier, you can get you a good idea. Basically, what happens is we're listening to it, right? And the song just connects with us immediately. So what happens typically for us is there needs to be a threshold of like this sounds professional that needs to be hit first, or else we're going to talk about that right at the gate, which has happened with a lot of the songs that we get, right? But once it passes that threshold, then it's like, oh, I really fucking dig this. Then it's a top tier track.
Yeah,
Um, so it doesn't happen often, but keep submitting and it just might be there. And
right.
hopefully we can give you some tips that'll help you break past that threshold.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I mean, you've got to have the basics down first of all, which is the categories that we go down through here.
yeah,
But then it's just like, is this, does it really exude something special? Does it make us feel something, basically, right? Because we do get stuff occasionally that's like, you know, really well arranged and mixed and all that stuff, but it, doesn't evoke a whole lot of emotion or
yeah, that
response.
first song actually, Gary with 2 R's, like it sounded really great, professional, and
Right.
but it was just like yeah, kind of hollow.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Let's get to it. Let's pull this next one up.
Okay. Yeah, while you do that, I have my own engineer, Rumor says. He's new to the game and still learning. I don't know anything about mixdowns, haha. True. Get your engineer to watch us, bruh. Um, but yeah, you got some special things going on, Rumors. I appreciate you submitting it. Yeah, try to work on that delivery with some energy. I know you have it in you because you hit it. It's just not consistent, like all the way through. Like near the end of the bars, it would be like, it sounds like you petered out on the energy a little bit. So try to work on that. I'm actively working on that.